Welcome back to the Not So Quiet Period. I'm your host, Lauren Boyer, and for this discussion, we will be talking about men's basketball and college football coaches' salaries. Now, the reason this is such a hot topic is obviously because of the state of our economy and also the fact that athletic departments have had to cut programs because they have a lack of funding within the athletic department. I first want to discuss basketball coaches, and if you look at one of my first posts on the Not So Quiet Period, there's an article from Forbes.com that I will be referencing. Now, according to this article, there are 31 men's college basketball coaches now making $1 million or more annually. It then goes on to talk about 10 of the 31 coaches who take on the most. And of course, if you're a fan of the sport of college basketball, you'll probably be able to name at least five, the five I'm going to talk about, coaches that are the highest paid out of all of them. So basically, I'm going to give you a coach, the school, tell you what he makes, and then give you a couple of little tidbits about him and his school and his career at the school. So I'm going to start off with John Calipari from the University of Kentucky. And he earns $4 million annually and has a career record of 495 wins and 153 losses. Now, that $4 million, and this is the case with all of the coaches I'm going to talk about, is does not include the incentives and benefits and other side incentives that the coaches receive. It's just what they make. Now, Calipari has 14 tournament appearances. He's only won the tournament once, just this past year, actually. And I'm also going to include the university president's annual salary, and that the president of the University of Kentucky earns $700,000 annually. So number two on the list is, should be no surprise, is Michigan State University, Tom Izzo, the coach there. He earns $3.5 million and has a career record of 407 wins and 166 losses. Now, he has reached the tournament 15 times, the NCAA tournament 15 times, but only has one title. And the Michigan State University president makes $520,000 annually. Now, the third coach on the list is maybe the most controversial with the amount of money he makes, and I will tell you why. His name is Billy Donovan from the University of Florida. Now, Donovan earns $3.5 million annually, and he has a pretty impressive record of 417 wins and 174 losses. Now, Donovan has made the tournament 12 times and has two titles, which is the most out of all the top five coaches. Again, why this is probably one of the most controversial salaries that we'll talk about is because Florida, because of their, the way they rely on real estate and so on, they have probably felt the economic downturn worse than most states, and therefore has caused University of Florida to have to make many cuts, including budget cuts of almost $47 million. They've had to eliminate 430 faculty and staff positions, and they had to reduce their undergraduate enrollment by 4,000 students. The fourth coach is Rick Pitino from University of Louisville. Now, he earns $2.5 million annually and has a career record of 608 wins and 227 losses. He has reached the tournament 17 times and has won tournament championship. Now, what's interesting about him and kind of sums up why a lot of these universities pay these coaches so much is Rick Pitino earned over $7 million last year as a retention bonus, so to keep him from going to another school. And he also had a contract extension through 2017. On another note, University of Louisville president earns $600,000 annually. So it just kind of compares that. And then at number five, Thad Matta from Ohio State University. Now he earns $2.5 million annually and has a career record of 315 wins and 93 losses. Now he hasn't been there as long as the other four coaches, but he has 9 tournament appearances and 0 championships. Now, some side notes. Now, Ohio State, along with Texas, Michigan, they all are a very unusual situation because their athletics departments actually turn a profit, which is very, very unusual in college athletics. So, just to give you an idea, the Ohio State University Athletic Department has produced $131.8 million in revenue and has only had $122.3 million total expense. And then another interesting fact was in 2011, Mata and at the time head coach Jim Tressel, who, as we all know, is no longer there, made out 25% of the total coaching budget. And Mata was the top paid employee at Ohio State. So just get you thinking a little bit there. Now on to a quick overview of college football coaches. Now I'm gonna go through this real quick. Don't have as many little tidbits to go, but Mac Brown at Texas, salary of $5.19 million annually. Nick Saban from the University of Alabama earns $4.7 million a year. Bob Stoops from Oklahoma University, $4.1 million. Les Miles from Louisiana State University earns $3.8 million. And coming in at number 5, Kirk Ferentz from University of Iowa. He brings in $3.7 million in annual salary. So that gives you an idea of the level of college coach salaries. That's a top 5 too, out of all the coaches. Now, as we all know, coaches' salaries has also raised significantly, and that's over a certain amount of time, but just in general over the past 5 years. Now, in 2006, the average salary was $950,000, and if we look at it, 2011, the average salary is $1.5 million. That is a 55% jump, and that's in the worst economy in years. So that gives you an idea of where, so far, where our priorities are in the college athletics world. Now, again, why do coaches make this much? Kind of a counter argument as to why they should is a lot of athletics departments are having to make cuts now. And although this is a local example for me, a small Division II program located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's called Millersville University. Again, it's small Division II. They have football, but they have had to make cuts. And one of their cuts was to men's cross country and men's indoor and outdoor track. Now, that affected 30 student athletes, but overall, they saved them $200,000, and they only lost one coach, which, when you make a cut like that, you almost expect 3, 4, 5 coaches. But luckily, they only had to let one coach go. Now, obviously, Millersville is a much smaller school, but to kind of put it on a much larger perspective, Penn State University has lost nearly 20% of public funding, and that's a state school. So all the state schools, and even as big as Penn State, have lost this funding, meaning they have to make cuts somewhere. Now, we heard some of the arguments why the coaches probably shouldn't be paid this much, but universities and athletic departments and athletic directors are going to argue why they should or need to pay their coaches this much. And basically, they say, and this is mainly for college football, but the only way to stay competitive in the BCS, and we're looking at the large Division I schools, and is to pay coaches that high of a salary. They have to stay competitive with other salaries in their conferences, in the BCS, even the FBS. Another argument that many athletic directors give, and you hear a university president, they'll give the same argument, is the fact that coaches' salaries are largely taken care of from TV, media, and marketing contracts. Now, that's great and everything. Those contracts are actually really big. The CBS and Turner Sports actually just signed with March Madness and the NCAA for like $10.8 million. And that's for what, 3 weekends of basketball. So, they're they are big contracts, but what they don't reveal, and kind of going back to football, only 20% of the FBS athletics departments were able to pay all of their bills without help from the university or state funds or student fees. The BCS signed a contract with ESPN for $500,000. So it's a pretty lame argument in the fact that it's a lot of schools are still in the red. So basically, it seems as though many of these schools these larger schools have kind of lost control. They have to pay these coaches the high number in order to stay competitive, and the numbers just keep raising every year. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Not So Quiet Period. Tune in again to see what the next trending topic is that we discuss.